Hello, you amazing people. You're listening to the Marketing and Coffee Podcast, the show that brings you the latest in marketing, especially in the UAE market, with your host, Lijo Etup.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Marketing and Coffee podcast with Lijo Etup. In my endeavor to make marketing more than what it's completely online today I bring to the forum Ritesh Mohan. The topic we will cover is retail marketing, the new normal. Ritesh Mohan, aka Retail Ritesh, everybody calls him Retail Ritesh. That's the depth of knowledge he has in the industry. We call him retail because anything to do with retail is Ritesh Mohan. We had two with so many years of experience. More about him. He is a passionate retail professional with over 20 years of experience in the retail industry. So that's why we call him Retail Ritesh. He has a website called Retail Ritesh if you want to go and visit that. He has been instrumental in the growth of some of the regional brands as well as the Middle East region. He specializes in retail management, product development, brand management, retail operations, sales management, and franchising. So it's end to end, right from concept to execution to the store. He uses wisdom of over 22 years to help retail startup and entrepreneurs to scale their business in terms of immediate sales traction. So the people who are willing to get some quick wins in your strategy of sales, he's the person to go to. Ritesh is an avid reader, prolific writer, and manages his own website, which I spoke about earlier. His articles have been published in Khaleej Times, Retail Middle East, Retail People magazines. So welcome, Ritesh Mohan, aka Retail Ritesh.
Thank you, Lijo, for fantastic introduction. And hello, friends. This is Ritesh, better known as Retail Ritesh. So it's my honor, Lijo, to be with you on this podcast.
Great. So very, very different times compared to the time we were first met, where the circumstances were more predictable. So very predictable circumstances that's coming up right now. So tell me.
Yes, Lijo, tell me.
It's uncertain times, and now the new phase of this is called the new normal. So how do you feel that? What is the trend line? How are things right now?
Lijo, as you rightly said, these are the unprecedented times. We have never seen such times. Yes, we have seen in the region, the pandemics earlier like SARS and MERS way back in 2008 and 2009. Our generation has also seen global recession in 2008, 2009. So, but this is something like a health pandemic which we have never encountered, to be very honest. So it's the first time when I say it as a retail practitioner, I consider myself like a frontliner doctors and all, because we have never seen such a challenging times in our lifetime, and we are trying to do whatever the activities that can help us at least sustain and thrive in coming times. We all know even the IMF has also announced that the world is already in a great recession, and it's now only the survival of the fittest, Darwin's theory, which we all studied in our test books. It's coming to actual real life play, and so it's one who is it's not the species which is the strongest and the toughest that survive. The species or the people or the companies and brands which are more adaptable to the challenges, to the changes, will survive. That's my interpretation of Darwin's theory.
Interesting. So I was speaking to some people, and that unfortunately there is no textbook that teaches you what to do. There is no experience you can dig into that will tell you what to do. One of the biggest differences compared to other pandemics in terms of retail and marketing and online is this huge beast of online, so which never existed in the earlier pandemics and as a solution. So the physical part of which was true for the earlier recessions as coming under different challenges. So do you feel that the omni-channel approach is a better approach? Pure retail play is still good for brands, or will it depend on the kind of product you're selling? How do you think it will play out?
Let me answer, Lijo. This is an excellent question which you have raised. I will divide my reply into pre-COVID era and post-COVID era. So I have divided. So in a pre-COVID era, the statistics which is based out of United States, that the online sales or a e-commerce sale used to contribute only 9% of the overall retail sales. So 91% or 90% sales were still happening in a brick and mortar format. Uh, Post coming now, fast forward to the post COVID era, yes, there has been a spike in online omni-channel approach. I was other day going through a report came which was published by Shopify, which powers 60% of the e-commerce sites globally. So Shopify says they have seen a spike of 200% for the people in their platform, people opting to for the e-commerce channel. Oh, this is from March mid till April 30th. So in 45 days, they have seen a 200% spike. Yes, the world is going towards e-commerce. As I mentioned, the brands which are intelligent enough to adapt and embrace new technology will definitely survive. And the trend, it's not right to say that no, the retail will die or people will not come to the stores. There are brands which are using e-commerce as well as their own physical stores. I'll give you an example of a US brand again. Why I keep giving example of US brands, because retail is much more matured in that market. That market is much more matured US market, and the world follows US. As we all know, the god of retail is also known as Walmart, which started the entire retail mechanism is based out of United States. There is one departmental store called Kohl's, KOHLs. They were facing a tough competition from different like Amazon.com, and their footfall was going down because Amazon had started a concept called Pantry, Amazon Pantry, which was supplying and delivering food stuff directly to the consumer home. So instead of fighting with Amazon, Kohl's did the best thing, the strategically. They went and approached Amazon and said, the people who are returning the Amazon goods, we welcome them in our stores. So please come and set up a Amazon return small pop-up in my departmental store. Your customer can come. I will accept the returns in case they have any for giving back to Amazon. We will accept those returns and supply it back to you. Amazon readily signed the agreement, and how it became helpful for both. Amazon was able to find, they were able to simplify their return process, so they were able to service their customer much better. Kohl's benefit was they attracted the people who had either stopped coming into their departmental stores or were never visited. So they were able to attract both kind of visitors, the new customers, new fit-ins, and the people who had stopped coming into those stores. So it was a win-win situation, which really helped Kohl's as a departmental store to thrive. So as I mentioned at the beginning of my reply, the Darwin theory is actually coming into play.
So somebody has to be and street smart, or and there is no end to experimentation. And I think a lot of the brands that we looking at are not even experimenting. A lot of the brands are just one of the brands that I saw, I was very happy. I saw Bulgari now has gone online. I started seeing the ads saying that we are now online. So this is around a 45, 50 days, guys. They went from never being able. Bulgari's luxury brand is a completely retail, physical sale. And I now, for last 1 week, I'm seeing ads of Bulgari where they say like, okay, come up, like you come to my store. It's not about, and I feel that it's not only about consumers moving to online. I feel that retail will still play a role, but being there where the consumer needs you at that point of time. And I think today consumer needs you to be online and be available when you want to buy them or experience them. And I think that is the largest call these brands. And it's a very interesting example where they Coles created that opportunity out of nothing. and walk-ins into this. Otherwise, people would not have walked onto the store. Uh, do you think it's going to be different? For one of the things that we have heard is that people are doing revenge buying. So the moment things open up, people are going and buying luxury brands, which is true for like China. People were Louis Vuitton sales went through the roof. Do you think that's a temporary phenomenon, or do you think the overall recession is going to change the consumer behavior in buying luxury brands? Do you think the retail will now move more towards value for money brands, or do you think the luxury category will still exist in this time?
Lijo, to answer that question, that example which you quoted in China was of a brand called Hermes, and a single day sale was something close to $1 billion sort of a stuff. Those buying sort of a thing which is one off. I mean, it's not going to be the norm. Uh, and one industry which I have always highly spoken and I have worked and I'm still working in that sector is luxury retail. Luxury is always recession proof. Come whatever pandemic, come whatever things, people who are used to wearing Rolex will never compromise to Casio. People who are used to drive Maserati will never come to Toyota. So, you know, the luxury is a recession proof. It exists for irrational reasons and irrational behavior. Um, no marketing guru or no marketing genius has been able to define luxury marketing per se. Yes, it's all aspiration. I call it, if I have to define luxury is nothing but selling of dreams. So you can't justify a dream. My dream is to drive a Rolls Royce. I will drive a Rolls Royce. You can't force me, or market norms cannot force me to go anything lower than a Rolls Royce. So luxury is here to stay. It will nothing will happen. Yes, there are different platforms that will emerge, as you rightly mentioned, Bulgari. uh, but have you noticed they are not a e-commerce per se? Their e-commerce is much more experiential. They use artificial, or I call it augmented reality tools. You can see and feel the bag, Bulgari leather bag, on your hand using an AR tool, or on your mobile screen using an AR tool coming into a 3D dimensional. So the basic principle of luxury is experiential. Hence, you might have noticed once you visit Rolex stores or Louis Vuitton stores here in Middle East, it's totally huge. It's like beautifully designed, luxurious. It's full. It's everything that they sell, right from welcoming you inside the store till the time they say thank you, sir, for visiting. It's all experiential. It's all aspirational, and which really. That sector is completely recession proof. I don't see any downfall. Yes, the people, instead of buying 3 Rolexes in a year, or maybe one luxury product in a year, might buy, might the frequency of purchase might come down, but their propensity to spend will never come down.
Very interesting insight, Ritesh, because the thing is, I am not buying a Rolex to look at time. I am not buying the Rolls Royce to go from point A to point B. It is not the
Yes.
functional need that I'm fulfilling with buying or using these brands. It is the need of being fulfilling my aspirations. So very clearly, the aspirational brands will continue to survive. May not be to the that degree that it's today, because of the volume of purchases that this used to, but then definitely it will survive. So what do you think will happen to the brands that is lower down the pyramid, the mid-segment brands and the brands that is lower down the pyramid? What should be their marketing strategies, or how should they do? Because they, again, from a visual merchandising point of view, so when you walk into a store, there was no social distancing. So it was quite a free flow. So today, now, when you walk into retail space, especially the smaller format and the middle of the pyramid and the bottom of the pyramid stores, you're extremely aware of the people around you. It's not a free flowing experience. So how do you think the retail experience or the retail marketing strategy should be for the smaller brands or the middle of the pyramid brands?
Okay, again a very good question, Lijo. If you divide the entire sector, see fashion sector we are talking about, into a triangle, into a pyramid. Top we say is luxury, is high end. Bottom we say is something called bridge to luxury, and in the lower pyramid we call mass brands.
Right.
The problem now is, over the years, whatever you say, the retailers or a retail brands which has been driven by financial wizards, they said the best way we can earn, we cannot compete the top, which is luxury. We don't want to be from the margin perspective at the lower bottom. So let's be a bridge to brand, the middle segment, the middle pyramid. And that's where the problem lies now. uh, with the current scenario where the people are now going to reduce their spending power, going to spend less, this pyramid, the middle segment, bridge to luxury brands, will suffer the most. You can see the latest news, the Gap's closing 600 stores in United States. A lot of brands are now filing for bankruptcy because they all are in the middle chunk of the pyramid. Now, I'll give you another case, which is a mass brand, a very nice retailer, again from United States. It's called TJ Maxx.
Yeah.
They are thriving. Because there's another brand from Europe called Primark. It's again thriving because nowhere you can get a jeans for $7. A denim for $7 they sell. They are in a mass segment. So people, uh, today in the current scenario, this brands will thrive. Luxury brands will stay where they are. They will rather grow, and the battle is in between segment. Now what I feel, the strategy for those brands which are into bridge to luxury segment is, look at more sustainable approach. Go for more sustainable fashion. Forget your four seasons that you used to earlier have in your store: spring, summer, autumn, winter. Concentrate only on two seasons. Work on your supply chain, which can be much more localized rather than depending upon China and any other territory. Look at your own local source of production so that you can at least sustain, even if all the shipment and transit shipment stops, at least you can still fulfill your stores by replenishing the stocks. uh, Look at more sustainable garments. Forget fashion. What I feel is, the in fashion we have something called basic and fashion component. Basic is the normal white t-shirt, round shape or a v-neck, which is a, it's a store carries for almost throughout their existence. So only the color changes, green, red, as per the seasonal colors. The uh, round neck t-shirt remains a round neck t-shirt, it doesn't change. There is a fashion component wherein different kinds of t-shirt styles comes in. So that component will be reduced. In a fashion brand, that component earlier used to be like 40/60, 60 fashion, 40 basic. Now what I foresee in future will be, these brands which are struggling, will increase their basic component. They might even increase the basic component up to 75-80% basics. Yes, the colors of the seasons can change, but the style of the garment, the fit of the garment will remain same. So people will go much more sustainable fashion, as we call it. Earlier the brands used to only have one collection in a year, like sustainable fashion sort of a stuff. Now those, the entire positioning of that brand is questionable.
Interesting.
There are so many brands in the Middle East which will be fighting for this dominance over sustainable fashion. So
Interesting. Yeah.
huge opportunity for marketeers, huge opportunity for agencies, huge opportunity for business people who wants to really believe in business transformation. So that segment, which is bridge to luxury brands, will be definitely going through a transformation phase.
Very interesting, because recently when the pandemic started, I saw a promotion of Sakur Brothers, which was you buy one, you get three off. Okay, and I could see a clear shift of strategy of the middle of the pyramid to a more of a pricing and a promotion model of sustenance. Because from the place point of view, Gap is shutting down a lot, but is pricing and promotions a sustainable model in the marketing mix for middle of the pyramid? Do you think it's sustainable? Does it affect the brand value, or do you think that in the short run it doesn't affect the brand value? It's okay to do it for 3 to 4 months. Your brand perception will still be at the place where you started off with. What's your view?
uh, my view for, when it's say any promotion, it's basically you are giving away your margin. The question is, how much margin are you willing to give away? That's the real question. Any promotion you say or any markdown you say, it's ultimately affects your bottom line, your margin, your intake margin goes down. So is your pockets deep? That's an answer. A brand has to look into it and say, yes, I have a lot of money, I'm sitting with a deep pockets, I will give discounts and clear my inventory. That is a short term strategy. It's also good because that clearance of goods will give them cash which they will require for the cash flow to sustain in this 4 5 months, which are going to be very very tough. The brands which are not with deep pockets, they have to really look at their entire board from a different perspective and say, what if I reposition my brand completely from fashion to sustainable fashion? Yes, I will keep a component of fashion, I will be, that's my DNA, but I will move towards fabric which are much more sustainable, uses environment less harmful to the environment, consumes less water for washing, cleaning, all those stuff. And so this is a huge scope for those type of brands which are not with deep pockets to really re-engineer their brand positioning. This is the best time they can do it. So my thing is, I see lot of opportunity for especially marketing people to drive and thrive in this current scenario. They can re-engineer their brands if they don't have a big pockets. If you have lot of money, then definitely clearing the stocks is a good strategy. It's no, I mean, having a lot of inventory is never a good idea. You have blocked up your capital in merchandise, so it's better to liquidate by markdowns, by giving 70 80% discount. At least you get a cash.
One of the persons I work, it was in the FMCG industry, and they said that their entire marketing spend has now moved to trade marketing and not much of ATL. And also digital mix has come down. So do you feel that in terms of the marketing mix that a brand will do, it will typically move more into into the trade and less on making sure that the spend is happening on ATL, on brand building, on awareness? What do you think? How will the marketing mix change in terms of communication strategy for a retail brand?
See, any brand manager today is sitting with an concept of, or with an idea, or toiling an idea basically, whether should I approach a short-term strategy or a long-term strategy. The short-term strategy, according to me, the right approach would be what BTL. BTL is in, what we call as below the line. It simply says make your product seen in the shelves of the hypermarkets or the shop where it has been sold, and people will buy it. If you incentivize the purchase by giving buy one and get another one free, that is the, it's like a good way to incentivize and push the sales. But at the long term, one has to also work simultaneously in building the brand awareness and recall. So that you, it is a, see, any promotion is a dual sword, sort of dual edged sword. It can kill you or it can protect you. So which side of the sword you want to use, you have to use it very diligently.
Interesting. So just to summarize, in terms of the strategy, if I by what you said in terms of period top, middle, and lower, so very clearly you're saying there will be almost minimal impact in the long run for the luxury brands. Middle will go through a kind of storm before it stabilizes, and the bottom of the pyramid is just right now, in the short term at least, they see a huge ramp up that's happening. So very clearly there is
Yes.
so different time frame for different segments of the market. If you want to summarize all of this, okay, and like the, and with your all this experience, there's a marketing person, there's a digital marketing person, there's a retail marketing person sitting in organizations thinking, oh God, I'm stuck, I do not know where do I go from here. what are those three things, irrespective of the categories that you, or two things, or whichever number of things, would you give advice from your point of view that they should look at in terms of decision making?
Okay, my three advice or three mantras would be: first, cash. Look at activities that can give you cash, immediate cash, because that is the immediate need of the hour. Forget it, nobody wants to have a cash after 3 months once the half of the company has is already died. So look at, first mantra is do activities which can generate you immediate cash. Second, develop something called engagement or an experiential concepts or a campaigns which can build positive affinity, can minimize the negative impact of your sales promotion that you're running in order to generate cash. So that will be my second tip. My third tip would be rationalize your merchandise. Look, go back to the basics of Pareto principle, or we formally officially call it as 80-20 principle. Look at those 20 items which is giving you 80% of sales, and just focus on it. No need to try, experimental time is gone. No need to try and error sort of a stuff. Focus on those 20 products which are selling well, which is giving you 80% of our revenue. This 80% of the revenue will be able to sustain you for next 3 to 4 months. And once the good time comes, you come on launching new products, new categories, in order to increase your products availability. That would be another mantra, or rather a bonus tip I would like to give, is something called it's a basic called focus on what is working. My daddy used to tell me, he was an aeronautical engineer, that while a commercial pilot is always trained to handle the mishaps like air crashes. Their mind has is coded in such a way that if an all the functions of an aircraft goes or fails, the pilot only focusing on those instruments which are still functioning. Their mind is coded in such a way, or is programmed in such a way, that a pilot will never see what is not working. They are trained to see only what is functioning and operational, and how they using those function, how can they safely land a plane. So going back with the same story, the brand managers, the brand owners used to need to look at what's working for them in this current times. If even one thing is working for them, please focus on that. That would be my bonus tip of the day, and that will help you survive and thrive in this current crisis. You know, don't keep on launching new products, because you will only put pressure on your cash flow, nothing else.
There you had heard it from retail Ritesh. So make sure that you find that winning formula, that 80-20 principle that will hold good at this point of time. Focus on that, what bring you revenue. Make sure that bring in cash and give it experiential uh, in retail, so that you are still able to sell. So you have to make sure that you get this mix right. Nobody could have said it better than Ritesh Mohan, with all these years of experience in retail. You heard it from him from here. Thanks a lot, Ritesh, for coming on to this podcast. Huge value. I found huge value myself after listening to you, and I'm sure that I've used some of them with my own clients. And I'm sure that when the podcast is out, people will listen to it. They'll find huge value in what you just brought to the forum. Thanks. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lijo. It was pleasure talking to you and your audience, and it will be my pleasure again. In any case, if any one of your listeners wants any help, they can reach out to me at retailritesh.com. That's my personal website, and I would highly encourage all the listeners to subscribe my website. You have a free newsletters and articles being published every week by me on different sectors, not only retail. It's also I cover up F&B, I cover up hospitality, travel, retail, luxury. So anything to do with retail is been there. So it's like that's my objective, which is basically share. I learn fast, I implement, and then I share. So learn, implement, share is my mantra that I have applied on myself. So that's I'm really I'm thankful to you and your audience for listening to me so patiently, and I wish them all the best, and I pray that everybody should stay safe.
Thank you so much. Have a